Hello students. In today's session, we discuss about various theories relating to leadership. We already thinking discussing about what is leadership, who is leader. Okay. So what is leadership? Leadership is an ability to influencing the people, an ability to guiding or showing a right path to the subordinates. So here is I mentioned some theories about leadership. The first theory of leadership is triad theory of leadership. Triad theory of leadership. So the triad model of actually what is the meaning of triad? Triad means like symbol. Okay, triad theory of leadership. Different persons have different traits. Trait mean here trait is a quality or trait is a feature to persons. Here leaders. So trait theory of leadership. The trait theory of leadership says that leaders compulsory having some traits. This theory also criticized by some or other persons. So first we first we know about what is trait theory of leadership. The trait model of leadership is based on the characteristics of many leaders. So it is based on the characteristics of many leaders, both successful and unsuccessful, leaders, and is used to predict leadership effectiveness. The resulting list of traits are then compared to those of potential leaders to assess their likelihood of success or failure. How these traits are useful to leaders and how we compare the traits of successful leaders and unsuccessful leaders. The trait theory gives that result or resulting that list. Traits are how traits of what are the traits of successful leaders or what are the traits of unsuccessful leaders. Here it says that successful leaders have some different traits compared to unsuccessful leaders. Scholars taking the trait approach attempting to identify physiological appearance, height and weight. Physiological appearance, height, weight and demographic, age, education and socio-economic background. Here scholar taking the trait approach identifying to attempt some qualities like physiological and demographic. Physiological like appearance and height and weight. See here physiological traits. What are the physiological traits? Appearance, height and weight. What are the demographical, age, education and socio-economic backgrounds. Okay, so and also personality, confidence and confidence, self-confidence and aggressiveness. Okay, so these are the traits which are used by scholar to giving this trait theory of leadership. So intellective, like intelligence, decisiveness, judgment and knowledge, and also task related characteristics. Characteristics is achievement drive, initiative and persistence, and sociability and cooperativeness with leader emergence and leader effectiveness. Here scholar taking trait approach attempting to identify different traits like physiological traits, demographic traits and next personality and intellectuality and also task related traits and also social characteristics of leaders. So with all these traits, how leaders emergence their leadership effectiveness. Successful leaders have, scholar says that successful leaders definitely have interest, abilities and personality traits that are different from those of less effective leaders. I already told that. Scholar says the difference between successful leaders traits and unsuccessful leaders' traits. He says that successful leaders definitely have interests, abilities, and personality traits that are different from those the less effective leaders. A leader is a leader. What is the question of effective leader and ineffective leader, or successful leader or unsuccessful leader? Leadership is a continuous activity. Once we achieve something, we may continue the success path, then only we called as successful leader. So successful leaders definitely have interest, abilities, and personality traits that are different from those of less effective leaders. We may observe many business leaders, they may get success once and continuously they get failures. Why? Because they do not have interest, ability, and personality traits. So when we observe successful leaders, they continue their success path by improving themselves, by updating themselves. Through many researchers conducted the last 3 decades, 20th century, a set of core traits of successful leaders have been identified. These traits are not responsible solely to identify whether a person will be successful leader or not. From the 20th century, many decades, some researchers are observing that what are the qualities of successful leaders. These traits are responsible solely to identify whether the person or whether the leader is successful leader or not. But they are essentially see as preconditions that endow people with leadership potential. So among them, some traits are shown by here. Among the core traits are identified or achievement drive. The first one is achievement drive. Observe here, students, achievement drive. Achievement drive. So what is achievement drive? High level of effect, high level of ambition, energy, and initiative. Successful leaders have high level of efforts. They always high level of efforts. They always efforting high success path and high level of ambitions. How the successful leaders' ambitions are high levels of ambitions. They are not satisfied with low level of ambitions. Their ambitions also high level. And energy and initiative. Energies and initiative. They are the initiators in the organization. They are the initiators in all aspects. Leaders always initiators. And the second traits is, observe here, leadership motivation and intense desire to lead others to reach shared goals. An intense desire to lead others to reach shared goals. Leadership motivation. Leaders always motivating the subordinates. Why to motivate? To incent to intense desire to lead others to reach shared goals. To reach the shared goals. Leadership is a shared activity. Leadership is a continuous activity. Leadership is a related with shared goals with the help of subordinates. Leader may get success with the help of subordinates. So that's why leader motivating them. That's why leader showing the right path to his subordinates. Okay. And next one is honesty and integrity. And honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity. Okay. Trustworthiness, reliable, and openness. Leader have trustworthiness, reliable, and he is always open. Openness. He have a quality of openness. And self-confident. Leader is a self-confident person. Belief in oneself, ideas, and ability. When a self-confident persons achieve anything, Without self-confidence, we can't motivate or encourage another people. So we may confident with we may firstly we confident in ours abilities, skills, then we motivate others. Okay, believe in oneself, ideas and abilities. And another trait is cognitive ability. Cognitive ability. Okay, what is cognitive ability? Cognitive ability. Cognitive ability. Capable of exercising good judgment, strong analytical abilities and conceptually skilled. Leader as capable of exercising good judgment, and he is a strong analytical abilities, and he was conceptual skilled. Okay, knowledge of business. And next trait is knowledge of business. Leader mustly have a knowledge of business, knowledge of industry and other technical matters. Leader have a much more knowledge about industry which he operates or which he organizes. And he also a knowledgeable person in another technical matters also. And next trait is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity. Leader is a well adjusted person. Emotional maturity is very important to all leaders, because leadership is a group activity. Leader always connecting with people, leader motivating people, so leader working with his subordinates. So people having different perceptions, personalities, people having different opinions, thoughts. So leader mustly have emotional maturity. He is a well adjusted person. He doesn't suffer from physiological disorders. Okay, so and another traits of leaders are charisma. Charismatic leaders are always dynamic persons. And also leaders have creativity. In the present competitive world, every leader must the quality of creativity to survive his business. So leaders are creative persons, and here they are the flexibility. They have a quality or trait of flexibility. Okay, these are the traits of leadership. And coming to what are the strengths of trait theory. Trait theory says that successful leaders are differ from unsuccessful leaders by containing some of these traits, like these traits. Okay, what are the traits? What are the strengths of trait theory? What are the strengths and advantages of trait theory? So it is a naturally pleasing theory. It is a naturally pleasing theory. Why it is a naturally pleasing theory? We know that leaders have compulsory qualities, some good qualities. Leaders have compulsory some good traits. So it is natural. That's why trait theory is naturally pleasing theory. And it is valid. Is a lot of research has validated the foundation of the basis of theory. The trait theory is valid as a lot of research has validated the foundation and basis of the theory. Okay, it serves as a yardstick against the leadership traits of an individual can be assessed. So trait theory of leadership is a yardstick for what? Against which the leadership traits of an individual can be assessed. Okay, so it gives a detailed knowledge and understanding of element in the leadership process. It gives a detailed knowledge and understanding of leader element in the leadership process. So how? By his traits. And coming to what are the limitations of trait theory? What are the limitations? Trait theory also criticized by some researchers, and there may be some limitations also. There is a what is the limitation? See here. What are the limitations of Trite theory. There is a bound to be some subjective judgment in determining who is regarded as good or successful leader. Okay, there is a bound to be subjective judgment. How to determine he is a good leader or he is a bad leader? So it is not possible. So this list of possible traits tends to be very long. More than 100 different traits successful leaders seize various leadership positions having been identified. These descriptions are simply generalities. Okay, there is also disagreement over which traits are most important for effective leaders. How we are observing that here scholar says that some of the physical traits, leaders having some of the physical traits like height and weight. In above passages I give that like height and weight. I want to give a great leader. He is not a well heighted or not a well weighted, or he is not a good appearance, or he is not his appearance is not well, but he is the world agreed leader. He is none other Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi. His fairness or his complexity or his height and his weight is doesn't matter. He is a leader. He is a agreed leader by old. Okay. So there is also disagreement over which traits are the most important for an effective leader. Okay. So the model attempts to relate physical traits such as height and weight. I already mentioned Gandhiji, the leader. Okay, most of these factors related to situational factors. For example, a minimum weight and height. We also take another example. The man who succeeded in getting separate state, like Sri Amarajeevi Sri Potti Sri Ramulu Garu. Okay, so a minimum weight and height must be necessary to perform the task efficiently in military leadership position. Of course, in military leadership there may be a minimum height and weight must be compulsory, but in business organization there is no requirement of height. It is only based on intellectuality of the leader, skills, experiences of the person. So it is an example. So that's why the trait theory is very complex. Okay, so the trait theory gives constructive information about leadership. The trait theory gives constructive information about leadership. It can be applied by people at all levels in all types of organizations. Managers can utilize the information from the theory to evaluate and people's orientation. Okay, so it is also known as, this theory is also known as managerial grid. Okay, so it was developed in early 1960s. The Black Mountain theory was developed in 1960s by management theorists Robert Blake and Jane Montagne. By both of these persons' names, Robert Blake and Jane Montagne. Black Mountain theory. This theory was named from both these names, Robert Blake and Jane Montagne. Black Mountain theory. It plots a manager's or leader's degree of task centeredness versus her person's or his or her person centeredness. Here, leader or a manager, how he gives importance. He give importance to the task, or he give importance to the work or people. Okay, so observe that. Understanding the model. The Black Mountain managerial grid is based on The Blake Mountain managerial grid is based on behavioral dimensions. The first one is concern the people. The first one is concern the people. Okay? Concern for the people. So, this is degree to which a leader considers team members' needs, interests and areas of personal development when deciding how best to accomplish tasks. And concern for results. And next one, concern for results. Concern for results. So, this is the degree to which a leader emphasizes concentrate on objectives, organizational efficiency and high productivity when deciding how best to accomplish task. Here I show a figure where Blake Mountain Grid. This is called as Blake Mountain Grid. Blake Mountain Grid. Okay, see this, students? By observing this grid, we easily understand about Blake Mountain theory. Here, observe this rows, observe this axis, x-axis and y-axis. X-axis and y-axis. So in x-axis we show that concern for the results. In y-axis we show that concern for the people. So, when managers always concern for the results, here the person, the manager or the leader always concern for the results, here he always concern for the people. So, when manager always concern for the people, what will happen? When manager concerns for the people or when managers concern for the results. So, when manager concern for the results, he is the task oriented person. When manager concerns for the results, he is the task oriented person. When manager concerns for the people, he is the people oriented person. People oriented person. So, when manager concern for the results or organizational objectives, when manager always thinking about organizational objectives, what will happen here? See that when manager, the quality of manager show here improvised management. How he is improvised manager? His concern for the results is high and his concern for the people is low. So he is the improvised management. Okay. So when a manager's concern for the results is high, his concern for the people is low. He is a produce or perish management. Produce or perish management. And when a manager's giving more concern for the people and low in concern for the results or organizational objectives, his result is low. In both ways, concern for the people or concern for the his concern for the people is high, his concern for the results is low. And when a manager concern is high for people and high for results, he is the team management. And middle of the road management. He is not a person who always concern for the people. He is not a person who always concern for the results. He is the middleman. Like he knows that when should be give importance to the people, when should be give importance to the results. So he always doing something in a right way. Okay. In improvised management, here low results and low people. Improvised management. Observe this. Improvised management. Here low results and low people. Concern for the people is low and concern for the results also low. And produce or perish management. Produce or perish management. Here high results but he is low for people's concern. He is low for people concerns. And middleman of the road. He gets middle results. He gets middle results and he gets middle for the people. Okay. And country club management. He concern more for the people. He is low in results. Okay. And team management. He is high for concern for the people, high concern for the results. Okay. So you may observe these sentences. Improvised management. Improvised management. Low results, low people. The improvised or indifferent manager is mostly ineffective with a low regarded for creating systems that get the job done. And with little interest in creating the satisfying or motivating team environment. His results are inevitable disorganization, dissatisfaction and disharmony. Okay, so in organization, concern for the people, concern for the work or concern for the results are both are important. Both are having important roles. So works was only done by people. Works results were only achieved by the people. When we doesn't concern for the people, we can't survive a long time. So the improvised or indifferent manager is not efficient. And coming to produce or perish management. Here high results and low people. High results and low people. In improvised management, impoverished manager is low results and low people. He concerned for low results and low people. The impoverished or indifferent manager is mostly ineffective. He is always ineffective. He is ineffective in results. He is ineffective in peoples. Okay, with a low regard for creating systems that get the job done. And with a little interest in creating satisfaction, motivating team environment, his results are inevitably disorganization, dissatisfaction and disharmony. Okay, so and coming to produce or perish management, here high results are and low people. High results and low people. So he is the getting high results and his concern for the people is low. His concern for the results is or his concern for the organization is high. His concern for the people is low. Also known as authoritarian. Authoritarian leader always ordering the subordinates. Authority, compliance manager. People in this category believe that the team members are simply means to an end. The team needs are always is secondary to its productivity. They always thinking about productivity, production, always thinking about organizational objects. He ignore people or the key people plays key role in productive actions, production activities. So this type of manager is autocratic. His rules are very strict, has strict work rules, policies, procedures and can view punishments and ineffective way and motivating team members. He is ineffective in motivating his team members. He always only concern for the work, production, profits. This approach can drive impressive production results at first, but low team morale and motivation will ultimately affect people's performance, and this type of leader will struggle to retain high performances. So this type of leader never gets success continuously, because here he ignores to motivating the employees. So lack of motivation, people do not work long time. Okay. He probably adds to X theory, X approach, motivation, and assumes employees are naturally unmotivated, dislike working. So this results in employees like unmotivated and disliking to work. They wants to leave the organization. They always searching for better opportunities. A manager who believes people are self-motivated and happy to work is said to follow the why. Okay, you can you can learn about X and Y theories more. Okay, X theory. In X theory, how managers are behaves like autocratic leaders. In Y theory, managers give suggestions and they are always free to employees. Okay, and coming to next theory, middle of the road management, medium results, medium people. Here results also medium and concern for the people also medium. A middle of the road or statu quo. He is the statu quo. Manager tries to balance results and people. He always trying to balance the work, balance the people, balance the results. So, but his strategy is not effective as it may sound. Through continuously compromise, he fails to inspire high performance and also fails to meet people's need fully. When we unsuccessful to meet people's need, it is like not like an autocratic, but here also people suffer for their getting their salaries or incentives and any other. Okay, it is middleman of road. And coming to country club management. Here high people, low for results. It is also not a good type of management. Country club management. Here manager always concerning for the people. He get low results. He never concern for the results. Without results, organization can't survive. So people also can't survive for long time to the organization. The country club or accommodating style of manager is most concerning about her team members' needs and feeling. In this management level, the manager assumes that as long as they are happy, how to feel happy the employees, the persons in the organization, and secure they will hard work. What tends to be the result is work environment that is very relaxed and fun. In the country club management, work is relaxed and fun, but where productivity suffers because there is a lack of direction and controls. Here manager doesn't direct or control the people. Direction and controlling are the primary functions of management. Without these functions, we can't get success. So here country club management also unsuccessful management. And coming to next type of management, team management, high production and high concern for the people. High production and high concern for the people. According to Blake Mountain model, team management is the most effective leadership style. It reflects a leader who is passionate about his work and who does the best can for the people he works with. This is the best management style. Team or sound managers commit to their organization goals and mission, motivate the people who report to them, and work hard to get people to stretch themselves to deliver. So here people who report to them, team or sound managers commit to their organization goals and mission, motivate the people who report to them, and work hard to get people to stretch themselves to deliver great results. When we concern for the people, they give high results. When we concern for the work gives high results, and then people's objectives also achieved. But at the same time, there is inspired figures who look after their teams. Someone led by the team manager feels respected and empowered and is committed to achieve their goals, her goals. Okay, team managers prioritize both the organization's production needs and their people needs. In the team management, concern for high production and concern for people. Okay, in this, team managers prioritize, what they prioritize, both for the organization's productions needs and their people needs. They do this by making sure that the team's members understand the organization's purpose and by involving the team in determining production needs. Okay, here what was done by team manager? The team manager prioritize both the organization production needs and their people's needs. They do this making sure that their team members understand the organization's purpose. When team members or group members or employees of the organization understanding about purpose of the organizations, they may involve in determination or production needs. They always involving work environment. When people are committed to the work and have stake in the organization's success, their needs and production needs coincide. Okay, so when people involving in production activities completely, they may fulfill their needs and organization needs also. That's why here says that their needs and production needs are coincide. This creates an environment based on trust and respect, which leads to high satisfaction, motivation and excellent results. Team managers likely adopt the theory Y. I already told that in Y theory, managers concern for the work and also give suggestions to the employees, and they also very helpful to the employees. They give suggestions, motivates them, encourage them in the work conditions. Approach to motivation as well as mentioned above. Okay, so here when people are committed to have a stake in organization success, their needs and production needs are coincide. Okay, it is the Blake Mountain theory. Okay students, and observe the figure which already I showed. By using this managerial grid, we understand very briefly Blake Mountain grid. Here observe this. So when manager's concern is low, and low for the people, low for the work, it is impoverished management, and managers concern for the results is high and concern for the people is low. It is produce or perish management, and here the managers concern for the people is high, concern for the work is low. Concern for the people is high, concern for the work is low. It is country club management. Here the managers concern for the people is middle, concern for the work is middle. It is middleman of the road, and the effective one is team management. Here the managers concern for the people high, concern for the work high. It is team management. It is Blake Mountain managerial grid. Okay. So in this class we studying about two types of leadership theories. One is trait theory of leadership. In trait theory of leadership, leaders have some traits, and next one is Blake Mountain Grid. Blake Mountain Grid. In Blake Mountain Grid, we understand that managers' concerns about managers' concerns for particularly on concern for people or concern for work. So in these two theories, we observe. In the first theory, we observe that leaders have some qualities or some traits. By using these qualities or traits, we may understand the leader is a successful one or not. And the second theory, Blake Mountain Grid, Blake Mountain Managerial Grid, we understanding the leader's qualities by using Blake Mountain Managerial Grid. Whether leader is concerned for the people, whether leader is concerned for the results. When leader is concerned for the people, this is degree to which leaders considers team members needs, interest and areas of personal development when deciding how best to accomplish a task. When leader or manager is always concerned for the result, this is the degree to which leader emphasizes concentrate objectives, organizational efficiency and high productivity when deciding how best to accomplish a task. So, thank you students.